Hello, welcome to our next flow-based class. Today the focus will be on strength. So we'll specifically be looking at the areas of the core and also the upper body, building up strength in these parts. So arms, chest, upper back, core. So let's go ahead and begin. We'll come into a seated cross-legged position as usual, and we will start by breathing 3 rounds of breath together. So from here, inhale, take a deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and continue the breathing, rolling the shoulders back. It's awakening the body. And go ahead and roll the shoulders forward. Good. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, we're going to drop the head to one side. Just getting a release in the neck area. Inhale, center. Exhale, dropping the head to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. We're going to interlace the fingers and just kind of warm up the wrists because we are going to be working over the hands. So it's going to be good that we get the wrists prepared to hold our body weight. And then circling in the other direction. And next, we're going to go ahead and just open the palms of the hands and then press them down on the floor. The heel of the hand is going to be facing outward, fingertips pointing toward the body. And just trying to come into a flat palm position if possible. So I'm just going to lean my body weight over the hands. So there's a natural press into the floor. So it's just happening through the action of leaning my body weight over the arms. So I'm not trying to push it down necessarily. So just breathe here. You'll feel the stretch through the forearm. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and release. We'll reverse this position. So tops the hands down. And then again, getting the wrist to come to the floor. You might feel your limit is here or here, but as long as we feel a stretch, it doesn't necessarily matter how deep we go. So you should feel just the elongation happening through here as we also get a nice opening through the wrist. Try to spread the fingers wide if you can. And continue to breathe. Just breathe into any areas of resistance. Good. And then just one more. We're just going to bring the heels of the hands together like so. Spread the fingers wide. And just gently lean your body weight over the hands. Good, and then we'll reverse that. Tops the hands down. Just leaning the body weight over the hands to get a stretch. Through the wrist area, going up into the forearm. Very good. Let's go ahead and release. Okay, so what we're going to do next is come onto all fours. And then from here, we're going to transition into downward facing. So curl the toes under. Inhale, lift the hips. We want to spread the fingers wide, aligning the hands shoulder width apart, dropping the heels, grounding the heels into the floor, grounding through the hands and feet. We'll just breathe here for a few rounds of breath. So when we're in downward facing position, we don't want to sink into the arms like this. We want to press through. So there's lightness in the shoulder joint. This is an important part of obtaining strength. So we're resisting our body weight. One more breath. From here, we're going to inhale, shift forward into a plank position, a high plank position. So this actually activates a lot of strength in the body. So what we want to do is suck the front body into the back body. What tends to happen in plank position is this happening, that our body starts to sink toward the floor, dumping a lot of weight into the low back. So we want to resist this from happening by really drawing the front body into the back body, like I'm sucking the front of my body to the spinal column. I want to lift the chin and resist my body weight, not allowing myself to sink into the arms, coming into this position. Activating my legs, pointing my tailbone toward the heels. Let's take one more breath. And exhale. Let's just drop to the knees and come back into an extended child's pose. A few breaths. Good. We're going to do this again. So let's come onto all fours. Curl the toes under. Let's press back into downward facing. Good. And then inhale, shifting forward, sucking the front body to the back body, not allowing the back to arch or anything to sink into the body line. So we want our body line to be nice and straight, legs active, chin slightly lifting, resisting the body weight through the arms, and breathe. Drawing the core in, lifting the navel. So plank position is one of these poses that's very deceiving. It looks easy, but when we hold, we can really feel the whole body activate. One more breath. And exhale, drop the knees. Let's push back to give our arms a break here. Coming into extended child's pose. Drop the forehead and take a few breaths. We're going to do one more. Spread the fingers wide. Curl the toes under. We're going to go into downward facing first. Then from here, inhale, shift forward, plank position. So again, energetically working the front body to the back body, resisting the body weight, lifting the navel up toward the spine. Lift your chin slightly, breathe. Don't allow your arms to sink or your shoulders to sink. Really extend and press the floor away. Continue to breathe. You might shake or tremble a little bit. Just try to hold a little longer. Inhale, exhale, drop the knees. And let's sit back on the heels. Stretch the arms out, drop the forehead. Taking a few breaths. Good. Inhale, exhale. Now what we're going to do next is go into a cycle of vinyasa. So we're going to come into downward facing plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing and downward facing. And we're going to repeat this so we can build up some stamina and strength in the body. So it's important that you keep your legs strong and that you always try to resist the body weight without collapsing if possible. I will offer a few modifications if you need them to support your body weight. So let's go into downward facing. Curl the toes under, lift your hips, spread the fingers wide. We're going to flow with the breath. Inhale, shift your body weight forward, plank position. Exhale, we're going to come down into Chaturanga Dandasana. If you need to drop to the knees, you can do so, folding the arms like so. Exhale. Then from here, inhale. We're going to press through the legs, upward facing. Keep your legs strong, thighs lifted. Exhale. If you need to bend the knees, curl the toes under. Lift the hips to come into downward facing position. Let's do this again. Inhale, shift forward, plank position. Exhale, another option. We're going to come into Chaturanga. If you need to drop the belly to the floor, that's okay, but keep your legs very active. No lazy legs like this, active legs. From here, inhale. Press the arms upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing position. Let's flow through this action 3 more times, taking whatever variation you need to work with. Inhale, shift forward. Front body sucking up to the back body. Exhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, hold. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. One more. Inhale, take a full breath, plank position, hold. Exhale, Chaturanga, hold. Inhale, upward facing. Legs nice and strong, thighs lifted. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, exhale, hold. Let's go ahead and drop to the knees. And sit back on the heels, just taking a little bit of a break. Extend your arms out, let the forehead drop to the floor. Extended child's pose. Take a few breaths. Okay, so for our next movement, we're going to come into plank again and hold and drop down to a low plank and then walk our way back up to a high plank. So what's important here is that we keep the body line nice and strong as well as straight. So let's go into downward facing. From downward facing, I'm going to inhale, shift forward, plank position. Sometimes you might need to just replace your feet to get into the right position. We want the shoulders directly over the hands. And I'm going to slowly bend one elbow and then bend the other to come into a low plank. Then I'm going to place my left hand down and press myself up into a high plank. Now, if this is too hard from a straight body line, you can always drop to the knees, kind of lean and shift the weight forward a bit so you're still working the arms. You want to keep the belly pulled in and then working your way up like so until you can feel that you can hold yourself in a straight body line. This is a good place to work. Let's go ahead and come up into our plank position, or if you need to work on the knees, you can do so. So from here, really activating your legs, pointing your tailbone toward the feet, belly drawn in, dropping down. I'm dropping my left hand first. Coming down to a low plank, like so. Leading with the left hand and coming up and dropping down. And lifting up. Continue to breathe. We have 2 more. Dropping down, low plank. And coming up. Dropping down. And coming up. Good. Let's go ahead and sit back on the heels. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Breathing here. One more breath. Good. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to lead with the right hand this time. So dropping the right hand down and stepping up with the right hand first. So let's go ahead and come into downward facing. So this is really activating and strengthening the core as well as the upper body. So let's go into our plank position. Lift the chin, lift your navel, activate your legs, point the tailbone toward your heels. From here, we're going to drop down right side first, coming into low plank. Maintain that nice straight body line, lifting up with the right hand first. Coming up into a high plank, lower, low plank, high plank. Pressing through the arms, trying to resist the body weight. Let's do 3 more. Dropping down, so no sinking like this. Try to resist and lifting up. Down, I'm keeping my legs active. And lifting up. 1 more. Down. Body line nice and strong. And you're going to feel your legs too. And lifting up. Very good. Drop the knees. And sit back on the heels, extended child's pose. So that really gets the heart rate going. Try to regulate the breath. One more breath. Good. Inhale, coming up. So what we're going to do next is another strengthening exercise. We're going to start in a kneeling position. So what we're essentially going to do is we're going to pour our body weight over the arms and try to bring the knees into the chest, but we're going to keep the tops of the feet pressing down into the floor for support. However, we want to isolate most of our body weight over the arms, learning how to resist our body weight so we can obtain some good upper body strength, but you will also feel the core work. So I'm going to bring my hands forward, more in the direction where my knees are. And I'm going to lean over the arms. So I'll just demonstrate one first so you can see what's happening. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to really bring the knees into the chest as I lift my bottom off the floor and lean over my arms. So I'm going to do something like this, leaning and then bringing knees to chest. Tops of my feet stay down and I'm really resisting my body weight. I'm not sinking like this, but I'm resisting, lifting my chin slightly, and then I want to lower down softly. Okay, so with some of these press positions, the lowering down is just as important as the lifting up. There's just as much strength involved with that lowering down. If you come up like this really nicely, but you land like this, then it's not really going to be doing the job that we want it to do. So lowering down softly also really activates good strength and good technique. So let's go ahead and do 5 of these together. Remember, we really want the knees to come into the chest. We want to resist through our arms. Tops of the feet stay down. The reason for the tops of the feet staying down is because we don't want to be too reliant on the support of the feet. We want our upper body to be working and holding our body weight. Spread your fingers wide. Before we begin, just lean over your arms and just kind of learn how to resist that body weight without sinking down. Draw in through your core, and we're going to inhale, lift on our next breath. So from here, inhale, lift, knees into the chest. Exhale, lower, nice and soft. Always resisting through the arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. That's 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 3. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 4. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Really good. Let's go ahead and just take a breath. Get a little bit of stretch through the wrist area because we're holding our body weight quite a bit here. Stretch your palms forward and inhale. Stretch the arms upward, palms facing upward, and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Let's go ahead and release the arms. We'll go through 5 more repetitions. Fingers spread wide. Lean over the arms, lift your chin, and really work on that resistance of body weight. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower softly. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back to kneeling. Inhale, stretch the arms out. Lifting up. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we have 1 more set to do. 5 more. Fingers spread wide, always coordinating the breath with the movement. So when we effort and lift up, we want to feel that inhale. And then just as when we descend, we want to exhale. Feet together, knees together. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. I'm counting backwards. Usually I don't count backwards. Very, very good. Stretch your arms out. Stretch the arms up. Inhale. Exhale. So for this particular position, we're coordinating both upper body strength, upper back strength, as well as core strength. So let's go ahead and sit back on our bottoms here, and we're going to go through a few exercises when it comes to really awakening up the core area. So first, we're going to go through a few rounds of our favorite pose, Navasana. So this is really good for core. But first, we're going to warm ourselves up by just starting with bent legs. So we're going to go through different stages here. So starting with the hands behind the knees, like so, chest lifting, and just getting a little bit of support here. And we're going to breathe here for 5 rounds of breath. Really lift your chest. Try not to dump into the low back like so. This is already 1. We'll do 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4. Pull the navel in slightly. 5. Good. Let's just drop the legs. We'll take a breath here just to rest a little bit. We'll take 1 more breath. Good. We'll go back up to our position. Instead of bracing behind the knees, we're just going to bring the arms out. This always makes it a little more difficult. Breathing here for 5 rounds of breath. Draw the navel in, lift your chest. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Go ahead and come into cross-legged. We'll take another few breaths. One more breath. We'll go ahead and lift up again. For full Navasana, legs straight, arms straight. Taking the arms out, pointing the toes, 5 breaths. 1, lift your chest. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Coming back into cross-legged. Take a breath. And one more breath. Good. Now from here, we're going to do a few lifts. So in a cross-legged position. So learning how to lift is a very important part of culminating the vinyasas, the seated vinyasas we do in the Ashtanga practice. So we're just going to practice in a repetition to lift up and lower down. And remember, the descent is just as important as the lift. So when we do this, we want the knees into the chest. If we need to cheat a little bit, it's okay. We'll bring the toes down, just the toe tips on the floor, so we're not supporting our weight too much. So just the toe tips down, the knees into the chest, the hands down, a little bit forward from the hips. I'm going to inhale, lift up, keeping the knees in the chest, lift my chin up, and exhale, lower down. And then going again, inhale, lift, chin up, just for a full breath. Exhale, lower down softly. Draw the navel in, inhale, and exhale. 2 more. Inhale, exhale. 1 more. Inhale, and exhale. Very, very good. So both the boat pose, Navasana, and these lifts are really good at activating the core area. So from here, let's go ahead and come into a cross-legged position, half lotus, lotus, or cross-legged. We'll take an inhale and exhale, twisting to the right, wrapping the arm around, and hold. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting to the left, wrapping the arm around, and hold. Inhale, center. Exhale, we're going to just practice a Ujjayi. So if you're unable to go into lotus, which is totally okay, we're going to do that lifting position that we did in repetition, but try to hold. So remember, what's important is the knees in the chest, lifting and lifting the chin as well. Okay, so that's an important part of good technique and good activation of the core. Make sure the knees are in the chest. If you can come into a lotus position, we'll lift from here, holding for 10 rounds of breath. The breaths will be quicker than our normal breaths because we're really holding our body weight. So pressing the hands down, inhale, lifting up, chin lifting up, and holding. 1, 2, make sure your head's not falling down like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly lowering down, releasing the legs, and then we'll go ahead and come to a lying down position. Gently come into resting pose, allowing the legs to slowly roll open, naturally roll open, the palms facing upward. We'll breathe a few breaths together. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Inhale, take a full breath. Exhale. Good. Gently close the eyes. Allowing the back body to sink down into the floor. Entering into relaxation. Okay, so thank you so much for today's practice. Tomorrow we'll have another strength-focused, flow-based class. So we'll see you then. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much.